I don't know who you are, but only a very evil person would ask a question like that. Go ahead, please.
Marissa Atmas here with CBS News Texas. Several families we've heard from are obviously upset because they say that those warnings, those alerts didn't go out in time, and they also say that people could have been saved. What do you say to those families?
Well, I think everyone did an incredible job under the circumstances. This was, I guess Christie said, a 1 in 500, 1 in 1,000 years. And I just have admiration for the job that everybody did. There was just admiration. Only a bad person would ask a question like that, to be honest with you. I don't know who you are, but only a very evil person would ask a question like that. I think this has been heroism. This has been incredible, really, the job you've all done. It's easy to sit back and say, oh, what could have happened here or there, you know. Maybe we could have done something differently. This was a thing that has never happened before. Nobody's ever seen anything. I've never seen anything like this. I've gone to some real bad ones. I've never seen anything like.
Several families we've heard from are obviously upset because they say that those warnings, those alerts didn't go out in time. What do you say to those families?
Well, I think everyone did an incredible job under the circumstances. This was, I guess Christie said, a 1 in 500, 1 in 1,000 years. And I just have admiration for the job that everybody did. There was just admiration. Only a bad person would ask a question like that, to be honest with you. I don't know who you are, but only a very evil person would ask a question like that. But only a very evil person would ask a question like that.
Several families we've heard from are obviously upset because they say that those warnings, those alerts didn't go out in time, and they also say that people could have been saved. What do you say to those families?
Well, I think everyone did an incredible job under the circumstances. This was, I guess Christie said, a 1 in 500, 1 in 1,000 years. And I just have admiration for the job that everybody did. There was just admiration. Only a bad person would ask a question like that, to be honest with you. I don't know who you are, but only a very evil person would ask a question like that. I think this has been heroism. This has been incredible.
Your breath, I wouldn't be an American.
They were there because they loved God, and as we grieve this unthinkable tragedy, we take comfort in the knowledge that God has welcomed those little, beautiful girls into his comforting arms in heaven.
The sheriff of Kirk County, Texas, broke his silence. His eldest daughter and 2 grandchildren were rescued by Mexican rescuers, and now he says it with his hand on his heart, I owe them my family's life. No one expected to hear that from Larry Lita, a man known for his tough stance against immigrants. But this time, tears spoke louder than speeches. Kirk County was the hardest hit by the floods that ravaged Texas in recent days. His daughter and grandchildren were trapped on a rural property surrounded by water. Local rescue teams couldn't reach them in time, helicopters were busy, and when all seemed lost, the unexpected happened. A group of Mexicans, sent by order of President Claudia Sheinbaum, crossed the border with shovels, ropes, and pure courage. They were the only ones who managed to reach the area, and they got them out alive. Larry Lita couldn't hold back his emotion. If they hadn't been there, I would have lost my daughter and my grandchildren. Lita publicly declared that from now on, Kirk County will welcome the Mexican people with respect and gratitude. I can't keep acting like nothing happened. I can't turn my back on those who saved my daughter. And you, do you also believe it's time to recognize the value of our people? Comment Mexican pride if you believe solidarity breaks all borders. Today, no one is talking about walls. Today, we talk about respect and about a sheriff who understood in the midst of pain that some lives are worth more than any passport. And about a people, the Mexican people, who once again show that when everything falls apart, they are the first to rise. The sheriff of Kirk County knows it now.
People are dying in Texas not because people are coming across the border. That isn't the issue. Never was, really. But people are dying in Texas because of bad policy, because of no policy, because of not doing anything. And this whole river thing is a perfect example. This river and it killing people and doing what it did the other day, that's not new. It's not new. It's been happening over the last 200 years, again and again and again. And people keep losing their lives. And now we want to pretend like, oh my goodness, no one expected this. How could anybody have known it was an act of God? Not true. No. Lots of people knew. There was even a report done years earlier saying, this is an issue. This is a problem. But you want to know the biggest problem? Republicans don't do anything. That's the problem. Because Republicans don't think government is capable of doing anything, they don't do anything. And when Republicans are in charge, people die. That's the way it is. And that's the problem. You have Republicans trying to fix something that they don't even recognize being a problem. Or should I say, they're not fixing anything. Because once again, they don't think government can do anything. But government, good government, could have saved all of these lives. Would have saved all of these lives. But the government you have now didn't save those lives, did they? And they didn't save those lives 20 years ago, 40 years ago, 60 years ago, 80 years ago. Do you get my point?
Breaking news. Trump just announced a new plan. $1,200 a month for stay-at-home moms. No job, no problem. If you're raising kids full-time, the federal government will cut you a paycheck. Trump's exact words. They're not unemployed. They've been raising America for free. If you don't have a formal job contract but spend your days changing diapers, cooking meals, helping with homework, you qualify. Single moms and low-income families get priority. Married stay-at-home moms are eligible too. Trump added, they work 8,760 hours a year and don't even get coffee money. It's time America pays that bill. But here's the wild part. Trump also proposed a domestic labor ID, officially recognizing parenting and homemaking as full-time jobs under federal law. The backlash? Immediate. Can dads apply? Where's the funding? Is this a backdoor into universal basic income? Should stay-at-home moms get paid like full-time workers? Drop your opinion in the comments. Let the debate begin.
I also saw that Texas will have flood disasters. And God says, please listen, that the relief efforts given to Texas will be extremely weak. And I wrote that in capital letters because he wanted it to be understood. The government will do the very least to help Florida and the very least to help Texas. He said, the government will not carry out relief efforts or material aid to Florida or Texas in a sympathetic or a professional way. They want to destroy those states, just as they will destroy all states that are strongly opposed to the beast system. So I'm not going to go into what the beast system is in depth. If you are new, there are too many videos on that topic. Those who have been here for a while, even a little while, you have heard me describe the system of the beast. The beast system has its own money. They're going to take away paper money. They're going to take away the right to your private bank account. They're going to take away your right to private property and private ownership and private anything. In fact, you will have no privacy. Life in the beast system will be completely monitored all the time. Everything will be tracked. They are going to advance their technology through the fallen ones, helping them in the shadows for now, to such a point that they will want to track the thoughts of people's minds, to hack people's minds and bodies, so that there is no part of us in privacy. And to those who think it's just to take away freedom, it's actually to take away any chance you have of having a personal relationship with God. You try to think of Jesus and that Siri will zap you through some microchip that they will put into people who consent to have this done to them. They don't care about your freedom because the Bible tells us in Revelation 13 that all the freedom of all the nations will be gone. They are trying to take away the last ability to call upon the name of Jesus Christ so that Satan's reign, at least for that time period, can be absolute. And so the government doesn't like states that are strongly opposed to these agendas. And he says that when Florida and Texas begin to suffer their judgments, they will not receive federal help that is sympathetic or professional. It will be messy. It will be sloppy. It will be the least that they can get away with because they want to destroy and weaken those states because those states are strong opposition to the beast.
Texas floods didn't just take the lives of 70, 80 plus people simply because of weather. 70, 80 plus lives were taken because of choices by the people in power who cut the very agencies meant to protect us. Under Trump, FEMA lost 2,000 employees. That's a third of the workforce for the program gone. Programs that funded flood prevention projects in small towns here in Texas, slashed. Sirens, sensors, disaster plans, canceled like we were disposable. NOAA or NOAA, the people who forecast these storms, they got gutted too. Over 850 staff cuts, radar networks unplugged, even weather balloons stopped flying. Forecast offices here in Texas were running on fumes. The warnings we needed, they came too late or too weak. These deaths were not random. They were preventable. But when you cut life-saving agencies to give tax cuts to billionaires, this is the price that the poor pay. I'm a Texan, and I for one am tired of being told that these disasters were just an act of God. I'm tired of hearing thoughts and prayers being sent out to people for disasters that were completely avoidable. And I'm tired of seeing the parties responsible being able to avoid accountability. These were not acts of God. These were acts of governmental neglect. People deserve better. So hold them accountable. Share this video. Demand investment in FEMA, NOAA, and our safety, not cuts that drown our people.
Oh my gosh.
All y'all saying Trump cut funding, we had to cut funding. The Democrats, Joe Biden, sent billions and billions of dollars to Ukraine. Just think if that money had been spent right here. That's why Trump's having to cut funding.
I'm glad we can agree on one thing. I'm glad that we can agree that Trump's budget cuts had a direct impact on this tragedy in Texas, this flood. I'm glad we can agree on that. But you don't get to blame a previous administration and their budget for the budget that this administration just passed. Because I have been hearing it for 6 motherfucking months that we need to cut taxes so that I can have a little bit more money in my pocket. You all want to cut services that benefit everybody so that you can have a little bit more money in my pocket. And this is a direct fucking result of that. Direct result. And 80% of that money being sent to Ukraine was old fucking equipment. I know because my unit got entirely new Bradleys, but that's besides the point. The real issue is that collectively, us as a society went to the voting pamphlet and we made a decision. Am I okay with more people dying by cutting social services so that I can have money in my pocket? And the majority of Americans said yes. That is the harsh reality of the decisions that we make. Just for the record, I'm not blaming this tragedy on people that voted for Trump, man. This tragedy is way too fucking serious. But there are consequences to how we vote. There are consequences to cutting climate science's budget. You do not get to blame any other administration.